This is for my fellow intercessors. If you are an intercessor, hi, my name is Patricia of Harp and Bowl Intercession. It is a ministry that God has placed within me to steward, where we believe that prayer to the God of the Bible works. I'm so excited, so excited to share this because I got this revelation yesterday and, I just want to share it. I was just reading the Bible one day and I'm going to be coming from Genesis. This is about a reminder to you, if you are an intercessor, how God hears you and remembers you, and that your prayers mean something. Okay, so Genesis 18 talks about how basically God is putting Abraham on notice. Abraham has a nephew named Lot who lives in Sodom and Gomorrah. He's putting Abraham on notice to say, hey, I'm about to destroy this city because the cry of the city, their sin has come up and it has rose up in my nostrils, essentially, right? So let's read. It says here, Genesis 18, and I do KJV, but I'm going to also pop in NIV just for the sake of it, even though NIV is just... and it says, and the men rose up from thence and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to bring them on the way. And the Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham that thing which I do? That's in the King James Version. That's verse 17. Let's pop over to the NIV version that I said I was going to pull up. Hold on. Okay, so the NIV says, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Number one benefit of being an intercessor. God tells you what he's going to do. That's not everything, of course. But when you are his intercessor, you are considered a friend of God. Abraham is known as the friend of God. Okay? So that means guess who also is a friend of God? You are, my dear. I am. You are whoever you are named Mitchell, if that's your name. You are whoever you are named Belinda, if that's your name. If none of these are your names, just ride with me, okay? You are a friend of God. He says, should I hide what I'm about to do? Should I hide it from Abraham? And why does he say that? He says it because he says, Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. He's like, I'm not going to hide what I'm about to do from him because I know his future. I know what's about to happen. There's another verse here that says that God says, and I know him. That's another benefit. Benefit number 2, God knows you, intercessor. God says, for I know Belinda, for I know Patricia, for I know Mitchell, for I know whoever you are. God knows you, intercessor. So anyway, the chapter goes on to where they're like having this discussion. Abraham finds out. He's like, oh, snap. No. He's like, well, what if there are? He's like, the city is wicked. That's what God is saying. And then Abraham says, what if there's 50 people? Will you preserve the city? And he's like, sure. They go down the number. What if there's 25? What if they get down to like 10? And that's when God says, if there are 10 righteous people, I will not destroy the city. And then he goes his way, basically saying, conversation over to Abraham. There aren't 10 people that's even righteous because the city ends up getting burned down, the Sodom and Gomorrah, and I think a little bit of the surrounding cities. Here's what I want to point out more than anything else, because this made me like so excited. Genesis 19 verse 29 says, King James Version, and it came to pass when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that's Sodom and Gomorrah, that God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelled. What's so beautiful about this is that Lot is the nephew of Abraham, as I mentioned, right? God sends 2 angels to go in and rescue Lot and his family, his 2 daughters, the wife. The wife turns into a pillar of salt. Very good story. When you get a chance, read it if you haven't, or just reread on it if you haven't, because there's so many details on here that are super important. Anyway, it is not because of Lot's righteousness that God preserves him from being destroyed in that city. The whole city burns down. There's only one family that gets rescued. It is because of Abraham. Matter of fact, I dare to believe Lot wasn't a righteous man. Why? Because at one point when these men were trying to have relations with the angels, you find out here that Lot is offering his daughters over the angels who are like his guests at the house, which is so deplorable. It's despicable. Okay. So with that being said, and he was comfortable dwelling amongst all these wicked people, Lot, which tells me you might have had a little bit of inclination like them too, to some degree, of being just a wicked person. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that God does not rescue Lot because of Lot. He does it because of his intercessor. So that means you as an intercessor have so much influence with the God of the universe. You are his friend. He remembers you. He says, I know you. And then he says, he doesn't try to hide things because he knows what your future is going to entail because he wrote your future. This is so good. So I just want to encourage you that if at any point you feel like your prayers aren't being heard, like nothing's happening, I've been praying for people, I'm discouraged or whatever, be encouraged, my brother. Be encouraged, my sister. And know that God hears you. Like I like to tell people, the God of the universe is for you and you're his friend. And he'll do something just because it's you, just because he remembered you. It ain't got nothing to do with that other person who he rescued. So keep praying for that nation. Keep praying for your family. Keep praying because somebody could be facing judgment. And because of your intercession, God turns it around. Be blessed and like and follow for more. Bye.